and welcome to episode 90 of the Bearded Banter podcast, the gaming podcast where it's a whole shebang. We're friends, we play video games. It's a great time. I'm your host, Shane the Beer One. Hope you're all having a great day. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Matt and Ryan. How we doing today, lads?
Hello there.
Hello there.
I'm doing okay.
Hello,
Kenobi. I just love to introduce myself like that. Love the way he says that.
Keep doing that. How we doing today, gang?
Doing okay. You know, just enjoying, more like mourning the final days of this beautiful puppy.
Rippin' Getty.
I'm sure we'll be mentioning that in the stories.
Yeah. At some point we will, because... But anyway, welcome to the podcast, everyone. If you're unfamiliar with us, we start every podcast with general discussion, talk about what we've been playing lately. Then we go into our discussion question of the week to wrap that section up, and then go straight into the news. Got quite a bit of news today. Fortunately, it's a lot of smaller stories, because it's mostly actual game announcements this week. So, huzzah! Yeah. So we have like double the amount of stories, but they're all mostly just announcements and release dates and stuff. But we got some other things mixed in there to keep things fresh. So
we have our prerequisite Activision Microsoft merger story this week.
I'm not at liberty to disclose that information, Matt. You'll just have to find out.
So one is that's what I'm getting at.
I know for a fact he's got something, because there was something yesterday and something just this morning that was added to it.
Well, we'll find out, and you'll also find out if you keep watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more great content like this.
Run.
Run. Get away now. Let's get right into general discussion, guys. Who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first.
All right, Ryan, what have you been playing lately?
I meant to be playing more of Metroid Prime, but being busy, I didn't really get as much of a chance to it. So what I've been more doing is focusing a great deal on the 3DS, because that sucker is closing down within just a few days, actually. Like, I think like 3 days from when we're airing this
Monday,
podcast.
as of this recording, the cookie shop for both the Wii U and 3DS are shutting down permanently.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it closes on Monday or after Monday.
I think it's like Monday 11 a.m. I'll check the exact date, but you keep talking.
Yeah, something like that. So I have just spent over the past few months and the past couple days just downloading an absolute shitload, you can see here, of 3DS games. That's like an absolute I think I got like maybe around maybe if you even include what's in the folders, like around 70 to 80 games on here.
So you're going true gangbusters.
Yeah, I've been trying to buy a lot that are either like really rare or weren't released physically in the US. So like some of them on here if I can just gotta scroll through the whole thing. Like Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, that's one of them. Got the whole Dylan trilogy. Got the Pushmo trilogy right up here. Got some ones like Attack of the Friday Monsters, Weapon Shop Deomase, Dempa Men, Liberation Maiden. Like, just
I had Liberation Maiden on my 3DS. I remember that.
Yeah, from all I've seen, like, it looks really good. Like, it probably could have been like a big physical release if it was just a bit longer.
I beat it in like a day, so that's why it's not a physical release. I only got it because Bones did the anime intro. That's why I got it.
That's the most Matt reason for buying a game I've ever heard.
I was like, oh, Bones did the anime opening to this. I gotta check it out. It's gotta be at least somewhat decent. And then I beat the game in a day. I'm like, that was fun.
And the main artist is the character designer of Fire Emblem Awakening. Because if you look at the main girl, she looks right out of Awakening.
He does, and I think the lead director on the project, or at least one of the leads on the project, is the No More Heroes guy. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, Suda? Suda?
Yes, Suda worked on it. I don't know to what capacity, but he was involved.
He was the main guy because the whole thing was like with the Guild series. It was like Liberation Maiden, Weapon Shop Deomase, Attack of the Friday Monsters, characters like Starship Danbury, Bugs versus Tanks. It was like this whole thing Level 5 did, where they got a bunch of bigger name devs and directors to just make a bunch of smaller games for the eShop under like the Guild series is what it was known as.
That's cool.
I bought everything in Rusty's Real Deal Baseball before that.
This
goes
man
bye
is
bye.
this man's dedicated to the cause.
I am. I'm not as big as the completionist, but I'm buying a lot of stuff because I hate to see the 3DS get shut down because I feel bad because like everyone was just shitting on the 3DS for like the early years of the Switch because everybody just wanted it to die. And now, like years later in retrospective, oh wait, this is actually a really good system.
Yeah, who would have thought gamers are idiots?
Yeah.
The shiny new thing. They want the shiny new thing.
Yeah. Last night and this morning, been playing a lot of Art of Balance Touch. This is actually a really fun one. It's like a balancing game where you balance a lot of different shapes. And that's a pretty fun one. I have made sure to download, even though it's a physical game, I got Rhythm Thief because that game
Nice.
in North America you can't get for like any less than 250, $300 a physical version.
I love games. I love video
Mhm.
games.
Got the Box Boy. Hold on, where is that? I moved it. Shit. I got the Box Boy trilogy
Bro,
right
I
here.
love Box Boy. Box Boy's such a good game.
Yeah. To Shane's behest, I have a downloaded copy of Sticker Star here on the 3DS.
Listen, I don't have to agree with it, but I can respect it.
Listen, I know the game is not great, but for one, I downloaded it just to have an extra way to have a game because Lord knows, game preservation ain't exactly fun or easy. And I have a bit of a soft spot for Sticker Star because I know it is not a good game in many regards, but it was actually my first Paper Mario game.
That's
So
really unfortunate.
although actually it might have benefited me because I was younger and didn't have any of the baggage of the previous Paper Mario games, so I didn't hate my time with it as much.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's like
The game's fine. The game's fine. The only reason people don't like it is because it's a Paper Mario game and that it's not as good as Thousand Year Door. Like,
That's
yeah, it's got a
it,
lot of issues. It's got a lot of issues, but like I have played significantly worse than Sticker Star. Like I
yeah, I
yeah.
mean
have
Sticker
played
Star.
significantly worse from Nintendo at that. I have played significantly worse from them.
Yeah. Picross 3D round 2 because that was also digital only for North America. Got Chibi Robo Photo Finder in here, and I found this one just yesterday actually. This like RPG called like Lord of Magna Made in Heaven. I downloaded it because it's like an RPG that I hear is pretty decent, but I could barely find any physical copies of it on eBay, and the only ones there were like hundreds of dollars. So
So
I
it's
thought, oh,
rare.
yeah, rare, exactly. So that's part of the reason why I downloaded it yesterday. And I'm probably gonna add like one more big wave of funds within these last couple days to get some more things before before the shop goes kaput. Not on here is actually a game that I've had for a long time, and I technically still have, is the DSiWare version of Plants vs. Zombies. I've had that as
Oh,
far back
interesting.
I've had that as far back as my original DSi XL, but unfortunately, it is in storage as of now because for some reason, DSiWare games only save to the system,
Yep.
and you can only play them when they are saved onto the system itself. You can put them in storage on your SD card, so you technically still have them, but you have to like move DSiWare games in and out because there's so little space.
Yeah, that the DSiWare thing is a whole hassle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to move a couple games around because I still want to get like Mighty Milky Way and like Mighty Flip Champs just because those are going away because they're only DSiWare.
Yep.
hmm
But yeah, so I've been going all in on the 3DS. Not the Wii U. Like I like the Wii U, but I feel like I'll get a lot more time out of my 3DS in the future,
Yeah.
and just I think we're losing a lot more when it
Oh
comes to
yeah,
the 3DS.
absolutely. Yeah.
Especially
Especially
since
since
And
they
the
port every game from the Wii U to the Switch. So
yeah.
yeah, oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially after Gerard's video on the eShops, there's literally double the amount of 3DS games that there are Wii U
Mhm.
games. So
Yeah, and way more of the Wii U games you would want to play have been ported.
yeah, the most of the big ones, RIP Xenoblade X, unfortunate.
Mhm.
that's
Al
gonna be the
although
big one, I think. They gotta port that.
although yeah, I think, I don't think it will get, like, a standard Switch port like all the other games have gotten, like, I think those are pretty safely done at this point. I think it was safe to say those were done after Mario 3D World, but I think Xenoblade X is gonna get, like, a big remaster, if not a remake, on the
Like
next
a
system.
definitive edition like Xenoblade 1 got.
Mhm.
I hope
Yes, yes.
I hope so because it's the one Xenoblade game I know gonna have trouble to play.
Yeah, simply because Xenoblade has gotten such a push and has gotten so much bigger. I
Mhm.
think they're
Yeah.
not gonna forget. I think they're gonna do something with X on the next system.
Or they'll forget about it, which is a possibility too.
I doubt it, simply because I think we're just waiting for X to be further tied into something else narrative-wise, just because narrative-wise, X is the big outlier of Xenoblade right
Well,
now.
it's also it's an AU thing. Like it's not
Yeah,
connected to anything because the initial plan for Xenoblade was that they wanted to make it like a Final Fantasy thing, to make every game their own universe that was disconnected. Which worked because Xenoblade is also technically part of like the bigger Xeno series with like Xeno
yeah,
Saga and Xeno Gears, both of which
yeah.
have nothing to do with
Oh,
Xenoblade. Um,
although well oh, go ahead.
but Xenoblade Chronicles X got divisive reception from fans, so they probably went back to the OG as a way to try to like bring them back on board, which worked. So
Although although I will say, Blade, Gears, and Saga, that separation and all those different series, that is very much not by choice
oh,
because
it's
Tetsuya
not. Oh no, it's not. The history of the Xeno series is really funny and really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Um,
Tetsuya Takahashi basically got screwed over twice by, Square Enix and Bandai
I
Namco.
I would have loved to see if he had stayed on Xenosaga because his plans for those games were fucking ambitious as hell.
Mhm.
Like imagine like if he had stayed on and they actually followed through on everything, Xenosaga would have been this like 6 game long
Oh,
story
yeah.
where each game was like 200 hours um
Yeah.
and was like this massive epic, and I would have loved to see them pull that off because that would have been like one of the great feats of gaming. Of course they didn't do it because they made the first game, nobody bought it, and then they're like, well shit, what do we do?
Which is weird because they, like, I don't know if many people bought Dot Hack either, but they went through with Dot Hack all through the
Well,
PS2.
Dot Hack was more successful in Japan than Xenosaga was. I think
Okay, yeah, 'cause Dot Hack
Xenosaga the issue of it being bigger budgeted, so they needed the Western market as well.
yeah, yeah, because Dot
Uh,
Hack got, like, 7 fucking games on the
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
PS2.
a bunch of those games.
Dot Hack is really popular in Japan. Like it's
Mhm.
smaller budgets. It's like the Legend of
Yeah,
Heroes games too. That's why those
that's
games are
true.
able to continue.
Mhm.
And those games are kind of the same thing where they're like a gajillion hours and they're all one
Yeah,
story.
and even
Um,
Trails is gaining more momentum here in the
Oh
West
yeah,
the past
Trails is
several
really
years.
popular now. I own all the games up to Cold Steel 4 on my
Mhm.
PC, and I haven't touched them yet.
Yeah,
I'm
I
scared.
I bought the Sky trilogy on the Steam spring sale, and also I have a physical copy of Zero and my physical copy of Azure, both for Switch. My
Mhm.
physical copy of Azure just came in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, those games are finally coming out, which is nice.
Mhm.
I had to. I have. Yeah. I think that's the reason I haven't started because I want to wait till I can get physical, like the
Yeah.
actual copies of those, and not rely on a fan sub.
Yeah.
Um.
Although I've realized we have gone way far off on a tangent from what
Yeah,
we've been
we
playing.
are off on
I mean, it wouldn't be Bearded Banter if there wasn't a tangent. Let's be real.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've covered what I've done. So someone else can go.
All right, Matt, talk about Amon.
Okay, so I have two things to talk about. Let's start with Amon.
Okay.
Because I have completed. Well, I'm done with Ishing now. Because I mentioned last time that it's not a. It's not a Yakuza game for me. Isn't over until I beat Amon, and I have beaten that Amon, and I gotta say that man's a pussy.
That man fucks. That man sucks.
Okay, so I have played 11 Yakuza games. I have beat them on now 10 times. The only game I haven't beaten them in is in Like a Dragon, because you have to go through the big final dungeon.
Yeah, the true Millennium Tower, which is a fucking nightmare.
Well, no, you have to go through the final Millennium Tower, which I haven't beaten yet because I am like a couple levels under that I'm supposed to be, and I don't want to grind because grinding sucks. And
yeah, fair enough.
So I haven't done that yet. I'll probably do it some point. And then you have to fight him again at the True Millennium Tower, where you need to be level 99 on all classes, on all characters, and like at least job level 90 on all characters in order to even have a chance. Because I've seen videos of that dungeon, and holy shit, it's for masochists.
Yeah.
But I beat him on here, and in the levels of, is this a hard Amon or an easy Amon? This is definitely on the easy side. He's kind of a pushover, and I don't know if this is my experience of fighting him like fucking 10 times, just being used to the 10 times. But I'm used to. But I pretty much beat him. You have to fight him twice in this game. The first time you fight him is at the end of all the trooper missions. You go to fight him, and he's there with his sword that, like, when he hits you, heals him, which is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But that's not the issue. He himself is not that bad. The problem is that he comes with 3 other dudes, and they're like these multicolored things. One is green, one is blue, and one is red, and each is correlated and weak to a specific different style that you have. Red is brawler, green is gunman, and blue is swordsman. And you can hit them with other stuff, but they have shield against it. They're resistant to it, so it takes forever if you don't. And until you kill these things, Amon is immune to a specific type of damage that you do to him. So you have to kill these fuckers in order to get to him. And they're really annoying because they have fucking OG Dragon of Dojima movesets.
Oh,
in terms of, so they can tiger drop. All of them can tiger drop you.
Oh, I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, so it's a pain in the ass. I died a couple of times, but I beat him. And then after that, you get a rematch with him, which is just him, and which is like the actual Mon fight. And I beat him first try because he was kind of a pushover. Because they decided.
Pussy.
Well, yeah, because they decided that, so Amon isn't actually immune to, like, fire and electricity and shit. So I just equipped the fire sword, and I fucking stun-locked him to death. I ended up stun-locking him to death, because he's not immune to fire. He will get stunned by it. So, yeah, the final boss of the game is immune to fire. Amon is not even, like, the final boss is, like, the only one that's, like, immune to, like, fire, I'm pretty sure. Like, even Amon is not immune. So I just equipped that sword and was just like, hee, and I fucking annihilated him. It was so yeah, but I'm done with Yakuza. The other game I want to talk about, though, is the bigger one I played because it was leaving Game Pass.
Oh, yes.
And I beat over the course of 2 days. Don't do what I did, and don't rush games, please. And I beat Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The Eidos Montreal game that came out, I think it was 2 years ago, 2021.
It was like late 2021.
Yeah, late 2021. That definitely deserved more attention than it got because it's really good. I was consistently very impressed by it. It sucks that it didn't get the attention that it deserved, because I get it, because it was coming off the heels of Avengers and really bad marketing on the part of Square
horrible
Enix.
Marketing.
Yes.
Which did not emphasize what I think is the real strength of the game. They tried to sell the game as kind of like a pseudo RPG, and it's really not.
It's
the
not.
game is a cinematic action adventure in the vein of like Last of Us, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, stuff like that. It's more of a story focused game, so they really should have doubled down on that. And yeah. And on that note, the story's really good. The story's really good. Like, it's really well written. This is what happens when you get comics writers to write your comic book game. You get people who know these characters. It's like a best of both worlds. It's very Gunn. It's very James Gunn. It's got a lot of the same stuff that his characters. It's like it's got a lot. It's got his humor. It's got the rock soundtracks is straight out of the films. Because that was something that he introduced. And some of the characters like Drax's whole like stoic personality is also from Gunn. That was introduced via Gunn. Like, Gunn made a lot of change. Like, I think people fail to realize just how many changes James Gunn made to the Guardians when he adapted them. But a lot of the other characterizations, specifically that of like Quill and Gamora and stuff, are very much more accurate to the original comic depiction. So it's like a best of both worlds. You get the kind of like the dark humor and the emotional stuff and the emotional sincerity of like the Gunn films, and then you get the really like the characterization and the really like bonkers sci-fi stuff that's in the comics. Because it is it's a treasure trove of like weird references. One of the bosses is like the Dweller in Darkness, which is like from like the depths of Marvel. You get to fight Fin Fang Foom in the game, which I think is so fucking cool. No, what?
No, I know
That's the name.
who that
The
is.
name.
I know who that is, but it makes me laugh every time.
You fight Fin Fang Foom, and it's cool as shit. And it's a great fight. If you love Marvel, there's a lot of really great reference stuff, like especially with like Adam Warlock and his whole deal. There's a lot of that stuff with him. And it helps the gameplay as well. It plays really well. Combat's actually exceptionally fluid. I was never bored playing it. It's really easy to get like everything in the game though. It's really easy. Like, I got pretty much max leveled out with the entire Guardians with like 2/3 of the way through the game. And at that point, at that point, you don't get anything from combat. Combat's just there to like, have a game.
Yeah. It's just there to fulfill gameplay systems and mechanics.
And gameplay systems and mechanics. I mean, I was never bored playing the combat, so it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge. I just wish there was like more to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just wish there was more to it. And then again, the game was also like a lesser priced title. It wasn't a AAA title from Eidos. They didn't make it a full AAA game. And I just think it's a great example of like how less is more. It's a single player game you can beat in like 20 hours. You can get most of the achievements in 20 hours. I got 80% of them in the one playthrough.
Nice.
That's pretty much it. There's no multiplayer.
It's 100% single player.
It's 100% single player. And it's the kind of game that like proves that like less is more a lot when it comes to single player games, and I like that. And I wish we got more of it. And I wish it did better so we can get more of this team of Guardians in particular, because I would love to see what they do. I would love to see if they continue it. It's never going to, though. It underperformed.
Nope.
Financially, which really blows, because it's really good. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's worth playing. It's worth playing, even if you're not like a huge Marvel guy. It's worth checking out. Like it's got a really good story. It made me cry, so there's that. I was not expecting to cry in the club on a Wednesday night playing
on a
Guardians
Wednesday
of the
night playing
Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was not expected to cry, but I did. And it was earned. It's very well done. So
nice. In terms of what I've been playing, 4 main things I want to talk about. One's really just a throwaway. I've been playing Sonic Rush again just because I took my DS out, and I just really like Sonic Rush. So just vibing with that game on and off. On to my main stuff though. Metroid Prime.
have you been playing it off stream?
A little bit, yeah. I progressed past where I played on stream, but I did play it for a full stream last Friday. First time ever playing Metroid Prime. And Nintendo's just really good at transitioning their 2D series into 3D. Is what I'm getting here, because this is essentially everything great about the 2D Metroid games just evolved perfectly to fit a 3D mold. This is a Metroid-ass Metroid game. The visuals are fantastic, especially on this remaster. They really went above and beyond, which I think is a trend with Nintendo right now. They're really putting a lot of effort into these remasters. The atmosphere is amazing. Like, you feel like you're actually in these environments with the way they're built and the soundscape, and everything about it is just so immersive. And the gameplay's really fucking good. It's obviously built off of a GameCube game, so the shooting mechanics of this first-person shooter, depending on who you ask, could be a little outdated, but thankfully, this remaster has a lot of control options. I'm personally playing the dual stick plus gyro, so I can have more modern aiming with a little bit of gyro for more precision. And it controls really fucking well. It's really fluid. The shooting feels really good, especially with the lock-on, and it becomes less about the shooting and more of like a cat and mouse kind of game. Like, you move in, you get some hits in, you back off, you dash. Like, it kind of becomes like this almost dance between enemies, and I really like the feeling of that. It feels really intuitive. Exploration is great. I got lost so much, and I think, honestly, that's what separates this kind of Metroidvania from something like, say it with me, Matt, Tails Adventure. Where at least I kind of know where I'm going and I can figure things out in this game. Whereas Tails Adventure gives you no map and no guidance, so you have no idea where the fuck you're going, and you spend 30 minutes just trying to figure out, oh, I had to go through this one hidden path beneath me that I had to use the specific item that I need to get in a different level. Whereas this, it's like, okay, I can kind of put this together on my own. It's not confusing to navigate these environments. So yeah, Metroid Prime, really fucking good. And thankfully, their physical copies actually exist now, so you can readily buy it. So if you're a Metroid fan or you've never played this game before and you want to give it a shot, definitely pick this up. It's well worth it.
I gotta play it. I gotta pick it up. I can replay it for like the fourth time.
The 400th time.
I love Prime. I love Prime so much. Like that game. That game. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Like, I love that game more than like life itself at this point. Like,
damn.
I would like.
You heard it here first, folks. Matt would kill himself over Metroid Prime.
The noise that came out of my mouth when Prime 4 was announced was like an inhuman. So
just an inhuman banshee screech.
It was a screech. Yeah, and the fact that we have had nothing on it since, I'm fully convinced it's like a next gen title at this point. Like,
it's probably gonna be for the next system.
I'm fully convinced.
Yeah.
So
in terms of what else I've been playing, the next game I have, I went back to Sonic Frontiers because the DLC dropped 2 days ago as of this recording. It dropped on Wednesday. And you know, there's only so much you can expect when the first wave of your DLC is a music player and a photo mode and some challenge stuff. But actually playing it,
not much.
actually playing it, it's a lot more involved than I think a lot of people would believe. The photo mode, pretty standard stuff, very basic photo mode. But given how Sonic Frontiers is an open world game, with Sonic speed and movement, you can get a lot of cool shots with this thing, and it's actually really fun to use. The big meat of the update, obviously, is the other two, the jukebox and the challenge modes. The jukebox is a lot more involved than I thought, because I figured when they announced it, it would just be like an in-game music player to listen to the actual game soundtrack. It's not that at all. It's a curated list of music from previous Sonic games that you can listen to while you're traversing the open zones. And the kicker is that only a select number of them are unlocked from the start. The rest are hidden on the actual islands. So it's not only
find them.
Yeah, it's not only incentive to actually go back into the game and re-explore the islands to actually find these things, but also the music list is really fucking good. Like, they pick some bangers, like some obvious ones you would think, like Live and Learn, Open Your Heart, things like that. But then some really deep cut stuff, like Deep Woods from Black Knight is in this.
That is so weird. That's such a bizarre choice.
And fucking Dusty Desert from 06. It's like it's on paper it seems really weird, but then you actually listen to these songs while you're exploring. It's like, oh, this shit slaps. This is actually really cool how they implemented this. And then obviously there's the challenge modes, which there's one for cyberspace and there's one for combat. The combat one's basically a bloody palace where you go through each island and you basically fight every enemy and boss on that island in succession, and you try to do it in the fastest amount of time to get S rank. And then once you do all of those, there's an all islands option where you basically fight every enemy and boss in the game in one go under a time limit. And it's really fucking fun. It just shows this battle rush, they call it. It basically just shows how well implemented and how well designed Frontier's combat is, because again, it utilizes Sonic's speed for a lot of it. So you're going back, you're doing these fights in succession, trying to do it as fast as possible. It's like, wow, this is really snappy, this is really responsive, it feels really good to do this combat, especially in the All Islands one where I was fucking okay, I know Matt hasn't played Frontiers, so this is mainly
you cracked
a little bit, but this is mainly for Ryan because he's played it. For the Oranos Battle Rush, they put the Ghost right before Supreme. So, for Matt, who hasn't played Frontiers, there's an enemy in the game called Ghost. And it's not really a fight, it's more of like a puzzle platforming thing where you have to destroy a certain amount of pillars to defeat the enemy. The entire time, he's draining your rings. So imagine getting to Ghost and you eat shit on Ghost, which I did, and you have no rings, and then you have to fight a Titan as Supersonic, who takes rings to stay alive.
Yeah,
it wasn't fun. So I basically went into Supreme with 100 rings, and Supreme is really annoying to fight because he's very projectile spammy, and every projectile knocks you back. So it's just a matter of like closing the distance to get to him. So that was a trip, to say the least, but I really enjoyed that, and I S-ranked all islands on my first try.
It's
fine. I'm a legend. It's fine.
Have you played extreme difficulty yet?
I started it last night, and I will get to it probably later today. But yeah.
Apparently, Supersonic, you take one hit in a Titan fight, you lose.
Yep. Okay, so extreme. So the cool thing is that with the challenge modes, if you S-rank all of the challenges within them, you get a cool unlock. So the one you get for the cyberspace challenge, which is the other part of this, it's you play all of the cyberspace levels on one island in succession, fastest time. And then again, there's an all islands option. So you go through every cyberspace level in the game in one go. If you S-rank all of those, you get to use the power boost in the cyberspace levels, which is really cool. It basically makes the... Oh, hello, Dexter. Goodbye, Dexter. So you basically get to go twice as fast in the cyberspace levels if you unlock that, which is really cool. And then the one you get for S-ranking all of the Battle Rush stuff is extreme difficulty. And the gimmick with extreme difficulty is that enemies are tougher, it's harder to S-rank cyberspace levels, you can't level up any stats, and one hit equals death. So it's basically critical mode level 1 from Kingdom Hearts, but in a Sonic game. And that sounds insane, And I am 100% playing that as soon as humanly possible because I
my
hate
God.
myself.
When you say you're 100% playing it, you mean you're absolutely playing it, or you're gonna 100% extreme difficulty?
Yes. But yeah, I'm actually really impressed with the first update. It's a lot more involved and it has a lot more content than I think anyone was anticipating, which speaks volumes for the rest of the roadmap.
I think they also just added like a bunch of little changes
Yeah,
that weren't
they
really
added a bunch
necessary.
of quality of life stuff, so you can
You
turn
can
off.
upgrade more than once now.
Yeah.
You can do multiple upgrades at once, which was stupid. I don't know why they did that in the first place. You can
I think
turn.
they
Go ahead.
Oh god. I think they just naturally increased how fast you go in cyberspace because I think people complained about that.
I think I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. The ones I do
They did.
know.
They made.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You go ahead.
Oh no,
You were gonna
the
say
ones
something
I
more.
know that they added are multiple upgrades at once. Thank God.
Mhm.
You can turn off animations for power boost. You can
That was
turn
it. Yeah.
off Starfall, which is it
Mhm.
called Starfall? It's when like
Yeah.
shooting stars fall at night,
The
and then
the star ring. Yeah.
the slot machine happens. You can turn it off entirely. Thank God, I hated that. Um, yeah, just a lot of little quality of life touches here and there. So the first update, fucking banger, and it makes me really excited to see everything else they have planned, especially in that third update with the new story and the playable characters. They're gonna go full cracked for
Yeah.
that one, I think.
I'm curious to see what Sonic's birthday is in the
Me too,
second update
actually.
because that
You get
that's like what
you get
the
to
fuck
bring
is that?
Sonic a cake. You get
You
to
bake
bake him
a
a
cake.
cake.
Yeah. But that really makes me really excited for the rest of this. The final game that I played, which leads us into a news story we'll be covering near the end of the podcast, as well as a plug. Go watch my latest video about Mirror's Edge. I've been replaying Mirror's Edge in light of the whole situation that happened this week. For
Mhm.
TLDR, if you didn't know, EA said they were delisting Mirror's Edge and a bunch of Battlefield games because they were shutting down the leaderboards. People didn't like that, and then they backtracked. So it's
Bully. We
bully.
bullied. We
The
bullied
only
them.
good form of bullying is massive corporations.
Yep.
So yeah, this whole situation made me reflect on my time with Mirror's Edge and how much I like it. I'm like, man, it's been a while since I played Mirror's Edge. Maybe I should replay it to see like what made it so good. And what makes it so good is everything. Visually, it is so striking. You have these like monolithic white pristine buildings interspliced with splashes of color. It really makes all the environments pop. And it's not only just a way to make the game stand out visually, it's also very subtle and ingenious level design because a lot of the color in the environment is used to help guide the player through the levels. So it's a really smart implementation of color theory. And it just makes the
Mhm.
game look fucking banging. Even 15 years later, it still looks amazing. And gameplay wise, the game has held up remarkably well. Especially in the modern era, Mirror's Edge was one of a kind when it came out. It was the first of its kind to really implement that kind of parkour style gameplay in a first person space. And I still believe that we wouldn't have games nowadays like Dying Light or Ghost Runner or hell, even Titanfall, I feel, without Mirror's Edge as a direct influence because there's so much of Mirror's Edge DNA in those games. And if you're going to be influenced by anything, you might as well be influenced by Mirror's Edge because it still controls like a dream. It's
Mhm.
still a blast to traverse these environments, do a bunch of sick parkour moves back to back, get these combos going. Once you get into the flow state of this game, it feels like you're on crack. It's so addicting. And going back to this game and doing the video on it, which by the way, watch the new video after you're done watching this podcast. It just made me remember why I love Mirror's Edge in the first place because it was unabashedly creative and trailblazing in the genre. It wasn't afraid to do something new, and clearly that stuck because many games after it really adopted that style of gameplay for the first person genre. So the fact that they were even planning on delisting this at all is a crime, and I'm glad that we bullied them into backtracking. But that brings up the whole issue with game preservation as a whole and how it's basically non-existent, especially this year. What with the Wii U and 3D shops closing down, 3DS shops closing down, a bunch of the live service games that have died this year, even the Battlefield games that were the majority of this announcement, those are still being delisted. They haven't backtracked on those.
It really sucks about losing the Bad Company games because I really like those.
Yeah, and
those are really good.
And it makes it even worse because they have single player campaigns. They weren't entirely multiplayer. Because I can get 1943. That was a online only game. It was only multiplayer. Probably like very few people are playing that nowadays. I get it. It sucks, but I get it. The Bad Company games have single player components. They have full campaigns that are offline. So the fact that they are being completely delisted because they're shutting down the multiplayer is frankly fucking preposterous.
And those campaigns are very good. If you've not played them, they're very, very good. Some of the better FPS campaigns of their day, I'd argue. They came out in like 07, 08, like late 2000s.
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Bad Company 1 was 08 and then Bad Company 2 was 2010. So
yeah, and I think, and this was around the time where COD had Modern Warfare, like COD 4 had just come out. So COD was like upping its game, and I think Bad Company kind of shits on some of the early COD campaigns from those times. I think they're really good campaigns. They're like these interesting like Black Ops, like Suicide Squad mercenary style game kind of campaigns with like a bunch of wacky characters that also somehow takes itself seriously. It's really weird and interesting, but I like it a lot. I wish they made another one. But they're never going to because Battlefield is in the dirt right now. We are struggling out here.
We are in hell. Battlefield
we
fans
are in hell. That's what that is.
First-person shooters in general kind of are right now.
I mean, Metroid Prime can
Metroid Prime will revitalize the FPS genre.
Metroid Prime is not a first-person.
No, it is. You're in the HUD.
It isn't.
Yes, it is. It's a first-person shooter. It counts. It counts.
Very loosely, but it still counts.
It still counts. The same way Mirror's Edge is one, and same way the Deus Ex games are.
You know what? You are correct. There is shooting in Mirror's Edge. There is shooting in Mirror's Edge. It's not the main component, but there is shooting in first person.
It's technically an FPS. Both of them are classified. Both of them are classified as FPSs. Also, the FPSs. They're both just really weird versions of. They're just both really weird when you get. They're
first person shooters that don't focus on the first person shooting.
Yeah, which tend to be my favorite. Weirdly enough.
But yeah, the whole Mirror's Edge debacle has been a trip. Thankfully, they're not delisting it anymore. Unfortunately, they still are delisting the Battlefield games, so rip to those games. You will never be forgotten. But I think even though they backtracked on Mirror's Edge, what's to stop them from trying this again in the future? And that's kind of the whole point of the video I put out, which go watch it now on the BGN YouTube channel, which you're watching this on. But yeah, it's kind of the whole point of that video. It's like, yeah, sure, they're not doing it anymore, but what's to stop them or any company in the future from trying to pull something like this again? Like, they are the rights holders. They have the right to pull any of their games for any reason at any time. And that's a very scary omen for the future of the games industry and game preservation as a whole. So,
yeah.
Go play Mirror's Edge is the TLDR. Go play Mirror's Edge while you can, because who knows when that will inevitably be delisted. So
unfortunately,
go do that. I have a lot more info in my video. I give you a lot of options to buy if you want. Of course, you can also pirate. That's very justified in this case. But yeah, just go play Mirror's Edge any way you can. It deserves to be remembered, and it is iconic. And that moves on to our discussion question of the week. Speaking of delistings, many games over the years have been delisted for one reason or another, whether it be licenses expiring, whether it be the shuttering of online services. many games have unfortunately been lost to the annals of time. So, my question for you guys, and I'm going to pose this as 2 questions, so you have a choice which one you want to answer, depending. What is your favorite game that has been delisted? Or, what delisted game do you want to see brought back? And you can answer either one. I mean, I have my answer, so I'll go first while you guys think.
Yeah, go first, because I'm trying to think, because I don't know exactly what's been delisted.
Because I could, I'm googling, so because I could say Scott Pilgrim or DuckTales, but those came back. So
my answer. I'm going to answer the first one. What's your favorite delisted game? I am going to say Scott Pilgrim because technically it was delisted for several years, and it was brought back, thankfully. Thank God, because that game is awesome. One of the best modern beat 'em ups ever made. Just really captures the style and the vibe of the comic beautifully. And the gameplay is really tight. It can be a little clunky here and there, especially when it comes to precise control. Sometimes it's a little finicky. But it's still a blast to play nowadays, especially when it came back. Now it's readily available on all platforms in the complete edition. But it was delisted for 7 years, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to come back. So in terms of delisted games, regardless of current status, Scott Pilgrim absolutely 100% is my favorite game that's ever been delisted.
I would say that too. I would also throw in DuckTales Remastered, even though that was only delisted for like a couple of months, but then that came back really quickly. And one that I just thought of going back to my 3DS here. It's actually one that's been gone for a while. Four Swords Anniversary Edition. Zelda Four Swords Anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's been delisted.
That was available for free for like a few months, then brought back for a few days, and now it's just been gone for years. And it's like the best way to play the original Four Swords because it has a single player, multiplayer is made way easier, and like it's straight up the best way to play OG Four Swords, and it's been unavailable for years.
I didn't even realize that was delisted. Actually,
it's one of Nintendo's things. They did it for like an anniversary, and then so like it's like when they did the Mario shit with like the 3D All Stars. It's like it was only for limited, and which is so stupid. I hate it when they do that. It's so dumb.
Four Swords Anniversary was free for like several months in like it was like September 2011 to like February 2012, and then it was available for like 4 days in 2014 for free because Link Between Worlds did really well, and they did that for like 4 days like for Four Swords.
Get it?
Get it? Yeah. We're funny. We're funny. Give us your money.
And granted, it was always given out for free, which was really nice. But outside of that few months and that 4-day time period, it's been completely unavailable ever since then. And this is the same version I've had since like my original DSi XL. So I'm glad to still have this, but they really should make this available again.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. My answer. I had to look it up because I had to look stuff up because I don't keep track of what games have been delisted because there's been so many. So like some stuff ahead. But I was looking at a list of delisted games and I saw that these 3 games got delisted and I was like, oh shit, I forgot that these were delisted for the absolute stupidest reasons and I would love to see them come back. And also I love these games. And that's GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. Which all got delisted in favor of the dog shit remaster trilogy that Rockstar put out years ago. And this is anger inducing for a couple of reasons. One, that remaster sucks. So anyone who wants to play these games now has to play it through that remaster, which just isn't the best version of those games. They're just not.
Absolutely not.
And second, those games had the original soundtracks.
Yep.
And so if you wanted to play with the original soundtracks of those games, which by the way are bangers, you have to play those games. I'm lucky enough to have those original games still. I have them on Steam. I got them couple years before they were delisted. So I'm lucky enough to have them. Shame for everyone else who fucking doesn't have them. And will probably never have them. I can't see Rockstar bringing them back. Unless because bringing them back would be them admitting that they fucked up with the remaster trilogy, and they're not going to do that. Because the last thing the company wants to show is weakness, and that they and the realization that they maybe have fucked up. Which really blows. So yeah, that's my pick, because I want to see those original games come back, especially San Andreas, because that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite games ever. I love that game, so I would love to see it come back. But yeah, that's my answer.
Good answers all around. Yeah, I could also say, one of my answers would be the original Sonic games, because Sega delisted those after Origins came out, and a lot of people have issues with Origins, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of wonky things with that collection. So the fact they completely removed the originals from sale and forced you to go through Origins isn't great. I feel like people should have options there, but
agreed. And this goes for any remaster that delists as original. I feel like you need to have the original there. What game? I forget what game is doing it, but there's a remake of a specific. I think it's like a Outlier game. Outlier, those the Outlier game or whatever that's coming out.
I think it's the Atelier. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Atelier, yeah. There's a remake of the original Atelier game coming out later this year, of the OG from '95, and it's coming here. If you buy it, you get the original game with it for free. So if you don't like that remake, well, the original is with it, and you can just play that. That is something I feel like the option should be there to just play the original, because there are going to be people who prefer the original game for whatever reason, whether or not they grew up with it or they just prefer older games or whatever. It's there. Let's have it there, and then have both, and have it there. It's going to be a net positive in the long run, I find. So I just don't get delisting older versions of game. I just don't understand it, frankly. No. What do you think? It'll be too confusing to consumers. You think we're dumb? No, we know what it is. We know that this is these are different versions. Yeah. Stop it.
Honestly, stupid. You bring up a great point, Matt, and I think I need to put this right out there. If you're remaking a game, include the original as an option regardless. Every remake should do that.
Yeah.
Which honestly is why I like things like Halo Anniversary so much, because they do have the original version in there, and you can swap between the two on the fly, and it's very cool. A lot more games should do that.
The same. I think Halo 2
Halo 2 Anniversary did the same thing, yeah. A lot more games should do something like that, because it's really cool and a creative way to preserve the original while also updating it at the same time.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did that with Halo 2, because the Halo 2 Anniversary added that really fucking stupid cutscene at the start, if you remember.
Yeah,
to
tie it into Halo 5,
the game starts off with, this game is a flashback to Halo, the flashback to Halo 2. I'm like, no, this isn't a flashback to Halo 2. I am playing Halo 2.
Yeah.
This is not a flashback. Stop it. And I don't care about Halo 5.
But with that said,
lock.
But with that said, we can. Oh, did you have something to say, Ren?
I was just gonna say to Matt, thank you for reminding me that I need to buy a Atelier 3, Rise of 3, because that just came out today.
I have never played one of those games. I feel like I would like them because I am a weeb, but but there's so many of them. When a game series like that's where do I start? There's so many of them. Where the fuck?
I think most people would say just start with Ryza, because that's the one that's by far the most popular.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I've seen some of the games that they have on the PS2. I'm like, ooh, these look good. So I might. And they have little sprite, and they have sprite art, and I love sprite art. So
But with that said, boys, now we can go right into the
And the
news.
The
news.
news.
12 stories to cover today, which sounds like a lot, but 2/3 of them, about 8 or so, are just straight game announcements, either new games or release dates for games we already know about. But we have some other stories spliced in there. We've got some follow-ups from stories we've covered previously. We have the Mirror's Edge delisting controversy to cover. And we also have some sad, and we're gonna get the sad right out the gate, get it out of the way, so we can move on to greater things. Last week, a week ago today, actually, as of this recording, Lance Reddick sadly passed away in his home at the age of 60. And
Yeah.
you might wonder why you bring up Lance Reddick in a gaming podcast. It seems more like a general entertainment story. Well, it's because he's actually had quite a few notable gaming roles. So let's read the article from VGC. Lance Reddick, the actor known in the gaming world for his roles in Destiny 2, Horizon Forbidden West, and Quantum Break, has died at age 60. According to TMZ, the actor, who shot to fame in roles on HBO's The Wire and the John Wick franchise, was found dead in his Studio City home Friday morning around 9:30 a.m. local time. His cause of death is currently unclear. This is an old article, so I don't know if there's an update to this. Matt, if you know, you can inform me later.
The update is that he died of natural causes.
Okay, so basically what the article says.
Died peacefully in his sleep from natural causes. So
our law enforcement sources says it appears to be natural causes. Reddick was due to appear on the Kelly Clarkson show to promote his role in John Wick 4. In terms of gaming, he was best known in gaming for his role as Commander Zavala in the Destiny franchise. The actor played a central role in Destiny 2 since its release and featured heavily in several of its expansions, including, most recently, Lifeball. And he has also played various other roles in games like Horizon and Quantum Break and a few others. I wanted to get this out of the way because Lance, first off, is a legend. And he's much more prominent in gaming than I think a lot of people realize. Of obviously his big claim to fame in gaming is Commander Zavala in Destiny. And if it, gamers are shitty a lot of the times. We tend to disagree on a lot of things, but if there's one thing we can all come together on, it's when an actor who plays one of our favorite characters tragically passes. And in the days following his death, a lot of people reported that players in Destiny 2 were going to the tower and paying their tributes to Lance by going and emoting with Commander Zavala. And, it's those kinds of stories
it's a very gamer thing.
Man, maybe gaming can be wholesome. Another thing, I can't remember where, but I saw this on Twitter. Someone found Lance's Steam account, and apparently he was playing Destiny 2 the day before he passed, so that's just king shit right there.
Dude was a certified gamer to the day he died.
Reminds me of when Mira died, when a shitload of players in Final Fantasy XIV dressed up as Black Knights when he passed away.
That was really great. Yeah, I loved that. And it sucks we lost Lance, especially so suddenly too.
And only 62. That's not that old.
Yeah, that's pretty young, all things considered.
That's pretty young. It's pretty young, especially it was like just so suddenly too. I'm probably seeing John Wick 4 soon, so that's going to be a really bizarre experience.
If they don't dedicate that movie to him, I'm going to be mad.
Apparently, they do. From what I understand.
Good.
He died unexpectedly, so I don't think so the film was shot obviously with the intention that he'd
they would have to add it in. They would have to add it in very last minute.
Yeah. The other thing that I do want to bring up is interesting is that one, he does have a lot of posthumous roles coming up. He's got a lot of roles that he's made. Of course, he will the John Wick Chapter 4 is not his final appearance as Sharon. John Wick. Yeah. He will be appearing in Ballerina, which is the upcoming spin-off film from John Wick, starring Ana de Armas. Keanu is also in that, by the way. So he's going to be in that. He's going to be in a couple of other smaller indie films that he also shot. He's got like 4 or 5 films coming up. So you'll still see more of him. But he's got one posthumous gaming role coming up, and that he's going to be the voice of Hellboy in that upcoming roguelike Hellboy game coming up. He apparently recorded all of his dialogue, by the way, before he passed. All of his dialogue is done. but that will be his final gaming role as fucking Hellboy.
What a way to go out, am I right?
As Hellboy. So, which is, a great casting choice because, Lance Reddick is a great actor and he's got a really distinct voice. And I think that his voice would fit Hellboy really, really well. And I'm very, very excited to see what he conjured up in the booth for Hellboy. And also that Hellboy game just looks sick. So, and sounds sick.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this up because it is notable, given how he is much more in tune with gaming than most people realize, and he has played some pretty memorable characters, mainly Commanders of Allah, Destiny heads.
Destiny heads.
Yeah, Destiny heads.
See
Rip.
You played
Destiny. You played Destiny. Rip.
Don't you play Destiny?
No, not anymore. I did, but not anymore.
You did, so you did.
And at this point, yeah, I went to rehab. I got checked in. And at this point, it's impossible to get back into it. So,
yeah, because you have to get like expansion number 55 and read up the lore.
But rest in power, King Lance Reddick. Lost too soon, frankly. Let's move on. Our next story, which is a continuation of stories we've covered previously. As alluded at the beginning of this podcast, the Activision Blizzard acquisition. So, we'll go through this quick, because this just came out today. So, the only big thing stopping the acquisition at this point, other than Sony, was the UK regulatory board, because they were still on the fence whether or not they were okay with the deal. Turns out they're pretty much on Microsoft's side at this point. So let's read. Article from VGC. UK regulator now says Microsoft Activision merger won't significantly lessen competition in console gaming. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, has said it no longer believes that Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard will significantly reduce competition in the console gaming space. The watchdog said on Friday that it has updated its provisional findings after receiving fresh evidence that alleviated some of its concerns about the $69 billion deal. Nice. While the CMA originally believed that making Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox could be commercially beneficial for Microsoft, it said that new data it has received indicates that the strategy would be significantly loss-making under any plausible scenario. In light of this, the CMA has narrowed the scope of its concerns about the deal. Provisional findings are a key aspect of the merger process and are explicitly designed to give the businesses involved and any interested third parties the chance to respond with new evidence before we make a final decision, said Martin Coleman, chair of the independent panel conducting the CMA investigation. Having considered the additional evidence provided, we have now provisionally concluded that the merger will not result in a substantial lessening of competition in console gaming services because the cost to Microsoft of withholding Call of Duty from PlayStation would outweigh any gains from taking such action. Our provisional view that this deal raises concerns in the cloud gaming market is not affected by today's announcement. Our investigation remains on course for completion by the end of April. So they're falling back on the Call of Duty thing. They're like, okay, clearly this isn't going to affect anything. They said they would put it on everything. We have no reason to believe they won't. We're still iffy about the cloud thing, so we're still going to continue, but we're more on Microsoft's side now than we were before. So at this point, the only big opposer is Sony. So I feel like this thing is pretty much guaranteed to go through now.
Yeah, it depends on how they feel about the cloud thing, because I feel like that's probably the bigger concern for some people.
Well, seeing as how sorry to keep interrupting you, Ryan, but I'll let you go after I say my thing. Seeing as how they've made the deals with Nvidia for GeForce Now, they made deals with Boosteroid, and they also made deals with the firm that produces the Switch cloud ports. I honestly think those are, I think these oppositions in the cloud gaming sector are basically going to go underway after their investigation is through, because they're basically doling it out to anyone who wants it. Anyway, Ryan, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I always figured this was going to go through just because it's money. and money makes the world go around, and ultimately that super high amount of money, like, I don't think, no, we can't let you, but it's like, capitalism, yay, that's kind
Yay,
of
everyone's
basically
rich. Yay.
what I'm saying. And I
Yeah,
mean,
capitalism.
Microsoft even had some stakes in the argument that I'm surprised they didn't bring up sooner. Like, last night, like, they just brought up Sony having exclusivity to Final Fantasy 16, which
Yep.
I'm surprised they did not bring up sooner, because that was like a huge card they had in their favor to counteract Sony complaining about Call of Duty.
It's so funny, Sony complaining that Microsoft don't make Call of Duty exclusive when they've been the big pushes for console exclusivity for years at this point, and no one bats an eye at Sony.
Yeah, like, they buy up games that don't really have any need to be exclusive. Like, there was no reason for Final Fantasy VII Remake to be PlayStation exclusive.
And especially reports that came out after that saying that they basically blocked that game from coming to Xbox.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sony's just got egg on their face. They look like fucking idiots.
Uh-huh. Basically. Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, Xbox is buying whole on companies, but it's more they're
So
just
is
taking the
Sony.
lot. I mean, granted, Sony's buying much smaller companies, but it's more like Xbox just taking the logical extreme of what Sony has already been doing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When you buy the people who make Halo, I don't know. That's pretty big. Not as big as Activision Blizzard, but it's still pretty big.
Yeah, Activision or Bethesda.
Activision Blizzard is like kind of huge. I think people forget how big. They're more than just the Call of Duty people. Like they have
they make everything. They make a ton of shit.
Yeah. And I also just love how Sony was like, "Oh, we won't be able to recover from, Microsoft having exclusivity to, or like owning Call of Duty," as they shove away the info of God of War Ragnarok already selling over 11 million copies.
Yeah. Well, tune in next time when we will, of course, have more updates on this story. Let's move on to the second story we have as an update to something we previously covered. Suicide Squad. There hasn't been an official delay yet to back the claims. However, it is said that is probably coming soon, and that in the delay time, it is unlikely that they're dropping the live service element. So let's read article from VGC.
Oh.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League's live service elements are highly unlikely to be dropped, it's been claimed. Last week, a Bloomberg source claimed Warner has decided to push the title from its currently announced May release date to the second half of 2023. Following the report, Giant Bomb reporter Jeff Grubb said a reliable source told him that the game may not arrive until 2024. While Warner has yet to comment on reports of a delay, the journalist who originally broke the story has now suggested the extra development time will be used to polish Suicide Squad rather than to rework its live service elements, which attracted some criticism following a gameplay showcase last month. Rocksteady has not yet announced a Suicide Squad delay, perhaps because there's still no new date, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier tweeted on Thursday. Staff were told a few weeks ago it's coming later this year, but they still don't know when. Possible it slips to 2024, but one thing seems certain. The core game isn't changing.
Yeah.
So, they're taking the delay to just polish the game. They're not changing anything about its systems or the live service stuff. So
doubted me.
So, yeah. So, if this ends up being true, how do we feel about Suicide Squad?
I guess you can say I want to commit suicide.
For me, just continued no interest because I don't care or want to play live services. Just like, I will continue to say I will be totally happy if 2023 goes down as the year live services seriously died off, because that's what it's starting to look like.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd be okay with that too. Obviously the big ones like Fortnite and Apex and Warzone will probably always be around, at least for the foreseeable future. And in terms of Fortnite, Matt and I actually really like Fortnite. We play it all the time. So I want that one to stick around, but seeing as how it's probably the biggest one, I guarantee it will.
But
if new games beyond this point just drop the live service approach, I'm not complaining.
I just don't. Okay, so I was so like, okay, so y'all, it looked pretty polished to me when I saw the gameplay. I don't. Oh, we're doing it to polish the game. I don't. I think you're bullshitting, Warner. I think you're lying. I think you're pushing it so you can quietly put it in another release date away from other games because you know you're gonna get demolished because nobody likes your game. You were about to come out around the same time as Zelda.
Literally 2 weeks after
And
Zelda.
they were confident. They were confident. It's like, yeah, here the gameplay showcase showed people were divisive on it, and now it's like, well, shit.
To be totally fair, very different audiences when it comes to Zelda versus
I
Suicide
don't
Squad. Like
think that necessarily matters now, though, because like it's still like I don't think it's necessarily matters though, because like Redfall comes out around the same time too,
Yeah,
as well.
Redfall comes out at the beginning of May.
Yeah, and I've heard, and there's been a lot of early word that Redfall is actually like really good.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh,
I guess just like I think
mm,
we overestimate like some audiences not crossing over as to how much games will eat into each other. Like, didn't Kirby only come out like a month after Elden Ring or something? And
Yeah.
Kirby still got plenty of attention.
yeah. And I'm trying to think because I'm trying to good like, but like they're very clearly lying. Like I don't think that this is being done for polish. This is being done. This is being done so they can move it to like a safer release date because I don't think they feel as confident in it anymore. I think that this game is DOA. I think we got a DOA game incoming.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't see it doing well, which really blows because I was hoping Rocksteady would make another good superhero game, but alas,
Hopefully,
next time. We'll get 'em
hopefully,
next time.
if this is DOA and it's Rip and Getty, hopefully they'll finally try and make that open world Superman game.
Well, apparently they're trying to. Like, there's still rumors about it, but it's not Rocksteady. It's going to be some other studio.
Fuck.
Insomniac's back hurting from carrying superhero games.
Oh,
I mean, okay. I mean, we got that Wonder Woman game coming from the Shadow of Mordor people, which is probably gonna kick ass. That's probably
joke's
gonna be
on
really
you,
good.
idiots! It's gonna have a battle pass.
If it has a battle pass, well, yeah, Shadow of War had a battle pass. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that at this point, just backflip.
Yeah.
Just backflip onto your
Shadow-
If it's a Warner Brothers game, probably like absolutely like a night. Just like don't bother with it.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow of War basically had loot boxes.
Yeah, me too, because that game's really good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But that's all the news we have in terms of stuff we've already covered. So let's move on to our original stories. Like I said, mainly game announcements. So let's start with the first one, which is Ghostwire Tokyo, of course, released last March, PS5 and PC exclusive, now coming to Xbox and has a big content update for all platforms. So let's read. Ghostwire Tokyo is coming to Xbox Series consoles and Game Pass alongside a new update. The Spider's Thread update, which will also release on PS5 and PC, comes to all platforms, including for the first time Xbox on April 12th. The Spider's Thread update introduces multiple additions to the main game of Ghostwire Tokyo, such as more areas to explore, like a haunted middle school, quality of life improvements, and more according to Bethesda. Game's main story will also feature extended cutscenes, granting players a deeper look into the plot as they play through Akito and KK's adventure to stop the menacing Hanya from destroying Tokyo. The FGA, which also comes free to PS5 and PC, includes many additions to the main story campaign, such as a new roguelike game mode, during which players must navigate a 30-stage gauntlet assembled from over 130 levels. As players progress, their abilities will become stronger. However, dying during a run will reset players to the beginning. New enemy types will also be added, like the Invisible Silent Gaze or Elusive Retribution. To defeat these new enemies, Akito will receive new skills, including Charge Rush and devastating counterattacks. The Spider's Thread update also includes an expanded photo mode. Use in-game Mecha to unlock figures at capsule machines scattered throughout Tokyo to unlock game malls that you can even use in photo mode for supernatural selfies. So, big content update for Ghostwire Tokyo, finally coming to Xbox after the year exclusivity. Middling reviews when it came out. However, I personally am excited to finally play this because from the beginning, I felt that this looked really unique and really out there, and it honestly looked pretty fun. It's like a first-person horror shooter where you use supernatural abilities instead of guns, and you're fighting a bunch of different monsters and spirits and yokai and stuff. I don't know. It just looked really cool, and the fact that it's finally coming to Xbox and Game Pass, along with this big content update that's adding so much to the game, I feel like this is really going to revitalize interest in Ghostwire Tokyo. What do you guys think about this?
It seems pretty cool. I have Ghostwire on PS5. I got it on like an Amazon deal for like $25 or something like
Those are the
that.
best ones. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, I do kind of laugh remembering that and Deathloop were like pushed really, really hard. It's like, oh, these are huge PS5 exclusives. And then nobody really talked about them all that much after they came out, and now they're not even exclusives anymore. So
Deathloop was technically never an exclusive, though. That's important to understand. Deathloop.
I mean, was
it was on PC when it hit.
They were both on PC.
Yeah.
So
That's
console
true, that's
exclusive,
true.
they were PS5
Console.
only.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deathloop. But which I need to play Deathloop because I've heard it's fucking great. I heard it's.
I've had it.
Good.
I've played it a fair bit. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I need to play because I've heard it's good. I want to play Ghostwire. It's a shame Nakamura's not on it anymore.
Yeah.
I remember I know that she left Tango because of creative disagreements with the direction of Ghostwire. And from what I can tell, is that the version of the game we got is not the version that she was like pitching. Her version was a lot more like a horror game, like an actual like spooky, as she said, spooky.
Spooky.
But this game, I mean, this game's obviously got horror elements, but this looks very much more like an action game in a lot of ways. And I'm excited to play it because it's going to be on Game Pass, so I might as well fucking play it.
I am 100%
it's got a roguelike mode now. It's going to get a roguelike mode. So I'm going to suck at that because I'm abysmal at roguelikes. I'm awful at them.
If I had a nickel for every AAA game that released in 2023 with a roguelike mode, I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
We got Hitman as well with the roguelike.
Yeah. Which is really fun. I played quite a bit on stream and off. Freelancer's really fun, so this is exciting for me. I was really interested in this game. Can't wait to play it, and I'm interested to see what all of the additional content is going to be. Moving on, going over to the PlayStation side, we got reports of the release window for Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, a leak from a voice actor. Who could have seen that coming? Let's read. Article from VGC. PlayStation's Spider-Man sequel is currently aiming to release in September, an actor has claimed on social media. Tony Todd, who plays Venom in the Insomniac-developed sequel, seemingly broke protocol on Tuesday by telling a fan that Spider-Man 2's release month looks like September. This is the same release window publishing sources had recently told VGC to expect the game. Quote from Todd's tweet, "Looks like September. Massive publicity coming in August. Commercials start dropping in August, so I'm told. Hold on to your... and hold breath. Gonna be necessary." I don't know if that's an abbreviation or whatever, but that reads really weird. In December, developer Insomniac Games announced that Spider-Man 2 was scheduled to release this fall, autumn. So, Spider-Man 2 September sounds about right, given how the original Spider-Man for PS4 came out September 2018. So, it seems like they're just holding that track record.
Yeah, you forgot the follow-up story of Tony Todd found missing.
Tony Todd found dead in ditch.
which I in my back of my mind I'm like, okay, because you mentioned a voice actor spoiled, and I'm like, it's got to be Tony Todd, right? And sure enough, it's fucking, of course.
You know damn well
Todd.
It wouldn't be fucking Yuri Lowenthal who leaked this shit.
No, I'm like, and it's gonna be the guy who's like never worked on a video game before.
I mean, I think most figured September to November was probably the time we were getting it anyway.
It just makes sense given the track record from the first game. It seems about right.
I'm very excited.
Me too.
This game's gonna whip. I can't wait for it to come to PC in a year so I can play it.
I love Spider-Man 2018.
Yeah, fuck it. I hope he's less of a cop. this time around.
Who knows? We don't even know what the story of this game is yet, though.
The story is they're doing the Venom shit. That's what the story is. Like it's
with Miles
and Craven. It seems like.
Hell yeah, I would love to see Craven,
bro. If they I know they're not going to. But if they pull the shit from Life's Story where they have Venom Craven, I'm going to literally do a fucking backflip.
I can see them doing something like that, but I don't think they're going to.
This is a very different
Spider-Man universe.
I don't think they will, but I'm snorting that copium, dude. I'm huffing that shit. Right
I'm hoping I really love Spider-Man 2018 a lot, but I'm hoping for one that he's less of a cop. I did not like the way the cops were portrayed in. And because Spider-Man historically, if you read the comics and know the character, does not get along with the police. Has never gotten along with the police, except the 2018 is the only universe that this has happened, and it feels really weird and icky in retrospect.
More is early years. He didn't really get along with the police because he's the same way as Batman, basically.
Yeah. To be fair, they've retconned that he never gets along now. So
okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, all I want, I love a lot of stuff from this game, but because Venom is here, Spider-Man 3 set up Carnage, please.
Carnage. Oh, Carnage would be cool with this gameplay. I'm not huge on Carnage. I've never been. I think that he's just Venom, but angry.
He's just red Venom.
Yeah.
He's cool as shit, but he's just red Venom.
Yeah. He's to me, he's like a Dragon Ball villain. He's not deep, but he is dangerous as hell.
Holy shit, that's the best description.
He's a Dragon Ball villain.
Heard.
Okay, Frieza's more interesting than fucking Carnage. Let's
be real though. Kid Buu is the Carnage of the Dragon Ball universe.
Yeah, and that he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Kid Buu very much.
He doesn't like the Buu saga.
I don't care about. I don't like Kid Buu very much either. So it's but the other thing is that I also am not huge on the 2018's depiction of Mary Jane a lot. I don't like them making her a reporter because I feel like that's way too similar to Lois, and that's not who Mary Jane is. And it kind of dilutes her character a lot because I'm a huge fan of that dynamic, and it kind of changes it to make it like a way that I'm not huge on. So honestly, I'm just excited for Miles again because Miles is really
his
great.
game did his own game did a lot for him.
Yeah, it's all off for him, and now it's coming off the tail. This year we also got Across the Spider-Verse, so it's a big year for Miles.
Definitely.
I've always been a big fan of Miles. I think he's a great character. He's a phenomenal character, and I'm happy that he's. I'm wondering, and once we see gameplay, I'm gonna wonder is it gonna be like a pick a character kind of thing? Like you get to play as one character throughout the whole thing, or you could switch, or is it a
there's a
co-op thing?
There's a few things they could do. There's either two different stories that you play through individually, one for Peter, one for Miles. They do a GTA 5 situation where you swap between them at different points.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I think that's the most likely situation. Or if they really wanted to do something wacky, they could do you control both at the same time.
That would be fucking insane and also probably disastrous. I can't see that working.
But just imagine controlling both at the same time in combat and doing like combo moves with them. That I feel that would be kind of cool if they could figure it out.
I think they're just gonna do like what they did in the first game, where sub-segments you switch to Mary Jane and some you switch to Miles. It's just now you're switching between two different Spider-Men.
On a more regular basis too. Probably.
Yeah.
Basically. Or do what they did or you do what Yakuza 0 does and just have 16 chapters and switch between them every 2 chapters.
Spider-Man 2 is the Yakuza 0 of superhero games.
Kind of like what Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart did, where you played as Ratchet for some levels and you played as Rivet for some levels.
Yeah. Actually, that makes sense because it's Insomniac as well, so that's probably exactly what they're going to do. And
I've read rumblings about Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, that apparently Insomniac was using Rift Apart as kind of a test run for multiverse shit, and that Spider-Man 2 is going to have some multiverse stuff in it. And it comes out the same year as Across the Spider-Verse, and we know Spider-Man 2018 is in Across the Spider-Verse as a cameo, but he's in it. So, I would not be shocked if there's actually more Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2 than just Peter and Miles.
Give me a spinoff that completely focuses around Spider-Man 2099. Give Miguel his due.
Give me Spider-Punk. Give me Spider-Punk.
Give me Spider-Punk.
Spider-Punk.
Yeah.
Spider-Punk. Please. Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Gwen, any of them.
Give me an Insomniac Spider-Man game based on Spider-Man 2099. And for the love of God, somebody do a Batman Arkham game with Terry McGinnis already.
Warner Brothers was working on like a 2D animated Batman Beyond movie.
Yes, and I hate them for that.
Yep.
Warner Brothers sucks. I hate them.
Terry and Miguel never get their proper dues.
Well, I mean, Miguel's about to. He's in Across the Spider-Verse.
That's true.
My first build. Oscar Isaac is first build. He's like the lead. Well, he's not the lead. He's first build, but he's not the lead. But he's basically like co-leads with Miles, apparently. So you love to see it. Miguel's actually getting the love he deserves. It's happening.
You'll love to see it. Let's move on to our next story. Also, kind of PlayStation, kind of not, because not anymore. You'll see what I say. Crash Team Rumble got a release date. Remember this game? Anyway, let's read. Activision has announced the release date and closed beta details for Crash Team Rumble. The 4v4 multiplayer game will be released on June 20th on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, PS4, and Xbox One. Surprisingly, no PC version. A closed beta will also take place on April 20th through 24th for players who pre-order the game. The beta will feature 5 characters: Crash, Coco, Tawna, Neo Cortex, and Dingo Dial, and 3 maps. It will cost $30 for the standard edition and $40 for the deluxe, so it's a budget title, thank God. Standard edition will include the game, closed beta access for those who pre-order, and a premium battle pass. Oh God.
Oh dear Lord. A crash. Yes, a Crash Rumble fucking battle pass, because that's what everyone was wanting in their Crash game.
So okay, so this is the weird spin-off game that's kind of like a MOBA situation. It's a multiplayer online battle arena where 4v4, 2 teams of 4 are pitted against each other, and whoever collects the most Wumpa-Fruit and returns it to their base wins. In the meantime, you have to combat with other players. You have moves on cooldowns. A bunch of gameplay was released in the wake of this announcement as like preview build stuff. Why? Why? I don't get it.
I want to play this and support it because it's Crash, and I want to see more from Crash, but also just like, because I mean, even something amazing like Crash Team Racing had some unfortunate Activision bullshit shoved into it.
I do not think in the year of our Lord 2023 we needed League of Legends Crash Bandicoot Edition, but that's just
no.
I feel like that this game is made out of desperation. They're like, we don't want to do Crash 5 yet, for some reason.
Even though you set it up.
But we need to do like a Crash game to tide people over. So let's do MOBA Crash with Battle Pass and also characters no one gives a shit about.
We don't want to do Crash 5. Then why just set it up at the end of Crash 4?
Yeah.
But they'll do Crash 5 eventually. I hope.
Everyone's like Crash 5. I'm out here waiting for Spyro 4.
Spyro 4, yeah.
Toys for Bob, please.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm
let them make Spyro 4 for the
I'm a much bigger Spyro nut than I am a Crash guy. So like I'm hoping that these Spyro 4, and we've been hearing rumors about Spyro 4 for like so long from Toys for Bob, but like
because it makes sense because Crash already got the same treatment, so you think they would do Spyro 4.
Listen, they both got remake trilogies. Then Crash 4 happened, so it's like, oh, okay, the door's open. Now, both of these series, since they've already been remade, can now get sequels. Spyro fans are still in hell.
We have been in hell for a while.
Once they
For a
properly
very
do,
long time.
once they properly do Spyro and do a little bit more with Crash after both of those, can we get Toys for Bob to like do a remake of like Jak and Daxter, like
Please,
Jak and Daxter
please,
trilogy remake?
please.
Lord knows those games and Sly Cooper, they need more love
And
because
Lord knows Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog aren't doing anything with them.
and Naughty
So,
Dog ain't doing anything with that shit.
and the Naughty Dog and Sucker
Uh,
Punch ain't doing shit with those properties. They don't care about them.
So
Yeah, Sucker Punch openly said they don't care about Sly Cooper anymore. Did you see that?
oh, oh, fuck you.
They've openly no, because they make Ghost of Tsushima, so they're like, yeah, we're better. They literally like we make these kinds of games now, and I mean, like, it's fine. I like those games, but like
I mean, Ghost of
Tsushima is good.
yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is really good. Like, I don't like, it's not a huge deal to me. Like, it's like, but like at least like lend it out to other studios then.
I mean, I think it kind of is because Lord knows Sony could use a bit better variety when it comes to their exclusives.
Agreed.
Yeah, but they have no. Yeah. Yeah. So I saw a little bit of like the Crash Rumble stuff on like gameplay wise, and I saw 30 seconds. I'm just like, no.
I mean, no. If it gets a physical release, I might buy it.
It's a budget title. It's not going to.
I don't know.
It could.
It may.
It'd be funny if it did. It'd be very funny if it did. But just put it on the shelf next to your Crash, your rest of your Crash games. Put it on the shelf, and then never collect dust.
Yeah, because I got Insane Trilogy CTR and 4 for PlayStation, so I would totally buy.
I have Insane Trilogy for PS4, and then I have CTR and 4 for Xbox, but I have all of them physically.
Yeah.
But no one wanted this game, and I still don't want it. But let's move on. Speaking of things people don't want, I don't think we can say that for this. And there have been rumblings about this for a very long time, and it's been officially confirmed. Counter-Strike 2 is happening, and it is coming out this year. So let's read article from VGC. Valve has officially announced Counter-Strike 2 ahead of the game's release this summer. It will arrive as a free upgrade to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, allowing players to bring across their inventory from the current game. Counter-Strike 2 is the largest technical leap forward in Counter-Strike's history, ensuring new features and updates for years to come, according to Valve. All of the game's new features will be revealed when it officially launches this summer, but the road to Counter-Strike 2 begins today as a limited test for select CSGO players. During this testing period, we will be evaluating a subset of features to shake out any issues before worldwide release. Valve said the game will be cleaner, brighter, and better looking. Maps in Counter-Strike 2 are receiving upgrades and overhauls which leverage all of the new Source 2 tools and rendering features. So the way they're describing this game, Counter-Strike 2, feels very much like an Overwatch situation. However, the difference between this and Overwatch is that while Overwatch didn't need a sequel, and in turns Overwatch 2 really wasn't, CSGO is like, what, 15 to 20 years old at this point?
It's old, yeah.
So this is very much overdue. So I don't mind that they're taking the Overwatch approach to this, that it's basically just an upgrade to CSGO. It's basically going to turn CSGO into a completely new game. I don't play CSGO, so I can't really say anything about this, and I don't know if either of you do.
I don't.
I don't play it.
I don't. I have never touched it. And so I have no opinion on this. Other than I am very happy for all of you Counter-Strike heads out there. Hopefully, yeah. I hopefully the update is good. And it also proves that Valve can do sequels. So Valve, Half-Life 3.
I was gonna say the most notable thing about this is that it proves that Valve is
actually making
video games. It's crazy, right?
They are making video games. Yeah, they're alive. They're here.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, the bigger news is, holy shit, Valve is actually doing something for once.
Valve is releasing a new video game in 2023. Holy shit, mark your calendars.
And it's not something that only 5% of the population at best can play because it's not a VR game.
Yeah, rip Alex. Everyone who's played Alex says it's incredible, and I'm like, I can't afford a VR headset. Let me play it. But yeah, Counter-Strike 2 actually happening. Crazy. It just proves that literally never say never, anything can happen. Moving on to our next story. This broke yesterday after months of rumors and leaks. Sonic Origins Plus is officially confirmed. It is an updated collection based off of Sonic Origins that released last year that will include new modes, playable characters, and a bunch of new games. So let's read article from VGC. Sega has officially announced Sonic Origins Plus for release on June 23rd, 2023. Sonic Origins Plus will be available as an all-in-one bundle that includes the Sonic Origins base game and the Plus expansion pack, featuring 12 Sonic Game Gear titles, playable Knuckles in Sonic CD, and for the first time ever, Amy Rose as a playable character in the original classic Sonic games. This pack also includes previously released add-on content, extreme missions, mirror mode, new character animations, and additional backgrounds and music. The premium physical edition will also include a 20-page art book and reversible cover sheet that pays homage to the classic 90s era of Sonic. Plus will be available as a $10 digital upgrade for owners of the original Sonic Origins, as well as a $40 bundle containing Origins and Plus, available both physically and digitally. The Plus upgrade includes all 12 Sonic games released on the Game Gear, and here's the full list. Sonic 1 8-bit, Sonic 2 8-bit, Sonic Chaos, the Game Gear version of Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Drift, the Game Gear version of Sonic Spinball, Sonic Triple Trouble, Sonic Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, Tails Adventure, Sonic Labyrinth, and Sonic Blast. The upgrade also adds Amy Rose as a playable character in the compilation's existing games Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and CD, as well as making Knuckles playable in CD. So yeah, they're going about this the same way they went about Sonic Mania with its Plus upgrade, which included new characters and modes and a bunch of quality of life stuff. It seems they're going about this the same way, but given this is a compilation, obviously a little bit more is expected. And yeah, I feel like they have added quite a bit to this game. With Plus. Playable Amy in the classic games alone makes this worth it.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing. It's nice to see Amy playable. And she's got her hammer.
She's got her hammer. She looks like she has a totally different moveset. They gave her original animations. And given the fact that the last time Amy was playable in a Sonic game was Sonic 06, this is long overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massively overdue. And it also probably prepping for the fact I think she's going to be. I'm pretty sure she's going to be playable in Frontiers once that DLC hits.
Yeah, the third DLC, she's going to be playable in that. So
yeah, so it's probably prepping for that, especially since Shane pointed this out. And I can't get it out of my head since that that Super Amy is probably a thing if she's going to be playable. So they're probably prepping for that. To be in 3D as well,
because you're adding her to Origins Plus. She's playable in all 4 of the classic games. Sonic 2 and 3 and Knuckles specifically, you can get the Chaos Emeralds and go Super. I feel like Super Amy is just a given at this point. Whether it'll be in a original Super form or whether she'll just like slightly glow a different color like Tails and Knuckles do, it yet to be seen. This doesn't come out for 3 months. We'll find out then.
Pinker.
She becomes super pink.
Incredibly pink. I wish I understand also why they're using it, but the update also reminded me that I much prefer modern Amy's design over classic Amy a lot. A lot more. A classic Amy looks like palette swapped Sonic.
I like both designs because they are cute and good. That is my.
It's not just saying that because his girlfriend has him at gunpoint behind.
No, put it away. But yeah, obviously the other noteworthy thing is the collection of Game Gear games that they're adding, not being redone in the retro engine. They're pure emulations of the originals. Hopefully they
Mhm.
run better than some of the other collections these games are on. Praying to God. But yeah, it's impressive. Like, I know the whole marketing push behind Plus is, look, we went from 4 games to 16. That's a lot of new content. Did anyone tell Sega the Game Gear games suck ass? Did anyone make this aware to them
They
before
also
they made
tell
this
them that
decision?
like these aren't even the best versions of some of these games because like the Mean Bean Machine has a version
Yeah.
on the Genesis that's a lot better, and then the Master
Yeah.
System versions of the 8-bit games are also apparently better. So
Yeah.
like
I mean,
I
to me, this is just the version of the collection we should have gotten in the first place. Like
agreed,
base
100%.
Origin seems so like I didn't get Origins because I wasn't interested in it, but now I'll probably pick it up because like there's a lot of this just felt like it should have been there in the first place. Like Knuckles playable in CD locked behind Plus that's just
Yeah,
stupid.
that's weird. It's really
game was
weird.
rushed out from what I understand too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Sega being Sega again.
and thankfully with
Mhm.
the Plus upgrade, it's getting a physical release too, which it seems to be the exact same way they went about Mania when Plus came out. Physical copy with a reversible Genesis style cover and a little mini art book with some concept art in it. But hey,
Yeah.
I will gladly buy this physically to have it on my shelf because I love these games and I do feel like despite its issues, these are the best ways to play the classic Sonic games at this point. Um, so yeah,
Even if they
so
did change the music for 3.
they didn't have a choice with that. I get it. It sucks, but like I get it. Licensing is a bitch. But yeah, someone tell Sega's marketing team that the Game Gear games suck. Not all of them suck. Most of them do, but that's it's getting off topic. Moving on, another announcement that kind of came out of nowhere. Um, when we think of Lego games, we mainly think of licensed platformer action adventure games. But lately, Lego games have kind of been going in a different direction. With Lego Brawlers being a Smash Bros. Clone, Lego Builder's Journey being like this weird isometric puzzle game, and that seems to be continuing with this latest announcement, Lego 2K Drive being quoted as a AAA driving adventure releasing this May. So let's read article from VGC. LEGO and 2K Games have officially announced their new driving game, LEGO 2K Drive, which will release on May 19th. The title is coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series consoles, Nintendo Switch, and PC, both on Steam and the Epic Game Store. Described as a open-world game with single and multiplayer that lets players build any vehicle they like. As first revealed by VGC last year, the game is developed by WWE 2K and NBA 2K studio Visual Concepts as part of a new line of LEGO sports games 2K has in the works. According to 2K's announcement, LEGO 2K Drive will feature a wide open world with different biomes, races, minigames, challenges, and collectibles. Players can build a vehicle with over 1,000 unique LEGO pieces or choose a ready-made one from LEGO City, Creator, Speed Champions, and more. Finally, 2K Drive will feature competitive multiplayer and a co-op experience. Two-player split screen will also be available alongside online multiplayer. So I've seen gameplay of this when this announcement dropped, and it basically looks like what if the LEGO expansion in Forza Horizon 4 was a whole ass game. That's essentially what it looks like. It looks
That's
like
the first thing that came to my mind,
yeah.
actually.
It
That was the
looks
first
like
thing.
a Horizon Burnout Paradise style open world racing game where there's a big open world you can race around. There's a bunch of different challenges and mini games you can do. But there's also actual races like in Horizon. However, the races in this look very much more Mario Kart-esque than the ones in Horizon. There's boost
Yeah.
drifting, there's power-ups, there's shortcuts. So it's a weird amalgamation of a bunch of different racing games with a Lego coat of paint. And honestly, I'm sold. As someone who's been playing the Horizon games since Horizon 4, and both Horizon 4 and 5 fucking whip, I am 100% down for this. What do you guys think?
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
down.
down too.
I think the Lego games are pretty consistent in terms of quality. Although I do think it's a little interesting that Lego recently has been taking a step back from TT from Traveler's Tales and doing other stuff. I think it might have something to do with the fact that Traveler's Tales is going through some controversy right now, so they want to move away from that very likely. But I think it looks good. We've had Lego racing games before. This is not the first time we've had one. We had some old, like years and years ago, but this is the first one we've had in a while. I don't think it looks fun. I like the fact it's got split screen co-op. Lego is like the only game series that's still really doing that, and I really appreciate that. Keeping the couch co-op experience alive, the Lego games. And I think that's which is perfect, especially since these games are aimed at like families. And so it's just me wanting more games with couch co-op because I feel like that's a lost art to time at this point with the rise of online and everyone stuck in their rooms alone and isolated.
So alone.
even beyond the pandemic, I'm still in my room. There's no one around me. I don't like human contact.
I don't like talking to people. Leaving the house. What is that?
What? What are you talking about?
No.
But yeah, what do you think about this, Ryan?
I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. I haven't played a Lego game in a good long while, honestly. I meant to pick up Skywalker Saga, but still need to get around to picking that up. But hey, I mean, Lego games are always at least some decent level of quality, so I imagine this will be pretty good.
Yeah, based on the gameplay, it looks pretty fun. And if it's literally just Forza Horizon, but with Lego, I mean, they already did that with the DLC in Horizon 4, so I'm down. I'm down for it.
And I think there's going to be a real appeal to the fact that you can make your own vehicle through like a literal like smorgasbord. And I'm like, okay, so I was like, okay, so you could literally customize it however the fuck you like. But that's an automatic like appeal. Yeah. There's appeal to that, I think.
That's really cool, and especially obviously it's being marketed for kids. What kid doesn't like building Lego? So you just give them a virtual playground to build a Lego car out of anything they want? Bro.
I'm going to create the worst looking car in existence and defeat all the little toddlers playing the game.
I'm going to make a Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts looking monstrosity and race it online against children.
It's one of those games that'll definitely appeal to like younger kids to just screw around making whatever Lego cars they can in their spare time.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We only got a couple more stories, so this one. So y'all remember the Gollum game?
Oh yeah, that is a thing.
Well, guess what?
This thing has been in development for like 6 years.
It's coming out in 2 months' time because they just announced a release date. Let's read. Article from VGC. Oh god, it's on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Daedalic Entertainment and Nacon have announced a May 25th release date for The Lord of the Rings Gollum. The fantasy game will hit Xbox One, Series consoles, PS4, PS5, and PC, both through Steam and Epic Games Store, this spring, being released for the Nintendo Switch later this year. Taking place in parallel to the events described in the Fellowship of the Ring, Gollum is a story-driven action-adventure in which players embark on a quest to retrieve the One Ring. Has an original story that takes players to several regions of Middle-earth and features familiar faces from J.R.R. Tolkien's books. So, there was a tweet that came out earlier this week. The Japanese trailer apparently leaked, showing the Japanese release date of June 22nd, the same day as Final Fantasy 16. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this game's getting buried. No shot, bro.
It's over. It's Jover. It's Jover.
It's Jover. So in Japan, this thing's getting fucking demolished, but it's coming out a month earlier in the West.
Does Japan even give a shit about Lord of the Rings anyway?
They do. The movies did well there. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they like fantasy stuff.
But I don't think anyone is excited for the Lord of the Rings Gollum for modern gaming consoles.
Yeah, I've been following the development of this game for a while because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings guy. So, important to note, this game has nothing to do with the movie side of things. With the Lord of the Rings license is really fucking weird because the rights are owned by like 3 different people. So you have a bunch of people. So you have a bunch of people making Lord of the Rings stuff. If it's not made by Warner Brothers, it cannot be connected to the movies, which are like obviously the stuff that most people know of when it comes to Lord of the Rings. This is just an adaptation of stuff from the books. So it's like its own thing. Which okay, we've gotten that before. Lord of the Rings Online is that, and that's really good. That has a large following. It's still going. It's been around for like 20 years.
I'm always confused on like what Lord of the Rings stuff is or isn't. Like I actually thought for like over a year that Elden Ring was a Lord of the Rings game because I remember them saying it was inspired off Lord of the Rings, and I thought that's why it was called Elden Ring.
No, it's called the Elden Ring because like it's a metaphorical concept in game. It's standard Souls bit shit. But the other thing is that this game has been in development for a very, very long time. It's from a very small studio. And it was supposed to originally. I remember when it was supposed to come out in 2020. This thing has been in development for a very long time. And considering I seen the trailer,
oof.
Maybe you should have it more time in the can because this thing looks rough. This thing looks
pies.
It does not look good at all.
Whole game is you just lumbering around as Gollum walking around.
It's
like remember when
it's weird. It's like a third person thing.
Remember when Sora was very briefly a Heartless towards the end of Kingdom Hearts 1? You just lumber around as Heartless around Hollow. Yeah,
you like the thing at the end of Inside.
Oh yeah, like the blob thing.
You like the blob thing at the end of Inside. Where you're just kind of like you like that, but it's Gollum the whole time. This game looks bad. I don't know. I can't see this appealing to like Lord of the Rings fans because like why? But also can't see this appealing to like non-Lord of the Rings fans because also why?
Why?
Like literally, who is this game made for? Nobody.
This game is made to capitalize on a license.
This game is made to please shareholders. That's it.
Was it? We need a game based on Lord of the fucking Rings.
Oh, what can we do? That Gollum motherfucker. Make him the main character. Make him scuttle around.
You know, right? Can we get Andy Serkis? No, we can't afford him, or just get someone who sounds like him. I guess.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it. Oh my god, Bill O'Reilly voicing
Fuck it.
Gollum.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Just craft Bill O'Reilly's face on fucking Gollum.
I know, I guess that is appropriate because according to Matt, given what he's seen, fucking thing sucks.
Fucking thing sucks.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
This guy stinks.
It looks bad. It looks bad. I'm not dealing with it. I'm like not, especially what if it's supposed to come out like here like what on the 25th? That's like around the time fucking like Zelda hits and Redfall hits early in the month.
Literally 2 weeks after 2 weeks after Tears of the Kingdom, 3 weeks after Redfall, the day before Suicide Squad was supposed to come out,
and about a week or so before Street Fighter 6.
Yep. Wait, so what it comes out in June, you said?
No, it comes out May 25th in the West, but the Japanese trailer said it comes out in Japan on June 22nd, which is the same day as Final Fantasy 16.
Okay.
Yeah, which is worldwide on the 26th.
Yeah.
I want to look at what games are even coming out like directly around that time.
Well, Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 comes out like a week.
Street Fighter 6 comes out a week after. Same thing with Diablo 4. Diablo 4 comes out like 2 weeks after this.
Ooh, yeah. So if you want your fantasy, you're just gonna wait till like fucking Diablo. I feel.
I think 5 days after the game comes out, the System Shock remake comes out on PC.
Bro,
in the West.
It's Jover. It's Jover.
It is absolutely Jover. It's important to note too that the studio that did this, it's Daedalic Entertainment, and they have done Jack and shit. Is that Jack and shit? I have not heard of their stuff before. They seem to mostly do like fucking point and click adventure games. This is the first time they're doing one that's not that. So,
well, I guess we'll see when it comes out on my birthday. Happy birthday, me! Let's move on to our last story before the Mirror's Edge delisting controversy. Apparently, we're going to be getting a video game based on the last Ronin comic for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let's read article from VGC. A new game based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is in development, but this one promises to be darker and more mature. The game will be based on The Last Ronin, a 5-issue comic miniseries released in 2020, which is set in the future and sees 3 of the Turtles already dead. In an interview with Polygon, Paramount Global Senior Vice President for Games Doug Rosen said the game would be a third-person action RPG and cited the recent God of War games as a comparison. Given the nature of the story, the game will mainly be a single-player adventure as opposed to the multiplayer-friendly nature of most other TMNT games. So, The Last Ronin is something that's been on my radar for a while. I've been wanting to read it, haven't gotten around to it yet. I've heard it's incredible, and the fact that they're reportedly making a game based on it, fuck, we good, boys. We fucking feasting out here.
Oh, this is an insta-buy. Instant insta-buy.
We feast.
We feast
this day.
So obviously this looks great. This is just going to be my opportunity to tell people to read Last Ronin. It's a great miniseries. It's well worth checking out. Go to your local comic shop, pick it up. It's fantastic. And even beyond that, read TMNT comics because they're really good. You get to see the turtles in their original format, and they're a lot different. Still dope though. Still dope as hell.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this game is gonna become when it eventually comes out. It obviously won't be coming out for a while, but the fact that they listed the modern God of War games as like influences in a direct comparison, I can sort of like put the pieces together in my head.
I can't wait to see me as a turtle fucking obliterating somebody by like cutting their head off or like slicing and dicing them.
I'm sure the eventual Shredder's Revenge sequel will hold us over until then. Because I'm sure we're gonna get that.
Yeah,
there's no way we don't, right?
Yeah,
I'm wondering also if this is being done because there's going to be. I have a feeling that insiders are probably suspecting that Turtles Resurgence is probably hitting because Mutant Mayhem
comes out in August. Yeah,
in August, and that's already getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, I mean, we got like I said, Shredder's Revenge, the Cowabunga collection. Those both did really well. Yep. So probably.
Mutant Mayhem, the comics are still going. Now this is happening. Honestly, best time to be a Turtles fan.
There's a lot of turtle shit. And another live action film is being made apparently too. They're doing that.
Yeah. Give me a Shredder's Revenge sequel that's styled after 2003. I want that so much.
That would
the 2003 series, yeah.
The 2003 series is so good.
I want a proper Rise game because I really love the Rise series a ton. Like that art style. Like, give me like an anime fighter with that art style, because please.
Well, almost feels like you could make a Rise game that looks like the newer Battletoads game.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Ryan. That's exactly what I was thinking.
There's a lot of really great stuff with that. Because Rise is my favorite Turtles thing, like a hot minute. I really loved it.
Yeah, me too. Also, the 2020 Battletoads fucking rips. It's a really good game, and it's actually like genuinely funny. I like died playing that game. It was so good. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this is gonna eventually boil down to when it comes out. Probably in the next few years.
It's probably not gonna come out for like a good
2026 at the earliest, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, because if it's just being announced now, there's no gameplay. Is there
Probably.
even a developer attached?
Let me check. Let me scrub the article. Nope.
Then
Nope.
yeah, we're not gonna get this for a hot minute.
For a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless they're
just-
ready to reveal it at like Summer Games Fest or something.
Just the senior vice president for games at Paramount Global said, "Hey, this is happening," but no other details other than it's a TMNT game based on Last Ronin.
if they were smart, they would get like a bigger developer to do this. But I don't think they're going to. I can't see that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Last story of the day, boys, and the big one. EA is delisting several games, including Bad Company 1 and 2, Battlefield 1943, and originally Mirror's Edge, but the story is interesting because it quickly developed. So let's read the article from VGC. DICE has announced plans to delist Mirror's Edge and several Battlefield games. As we close in on 15 years since the release of Battlefield 1943, Bad Company 1 and 2, and Mirror's Edge, we are announcing that their journey is coming to an end, the EA studio wrote in a blog published on Tuesday. The games will be removed from digital storefronts on April 28th, and online services for the titles will be closed on December 8th. While Battlefield 1943 is an online-only game, the other 3 titles will remain playable using their offline features, such as the single-player campaign. Update to the article, EA has now updated its blog post and removed references to Mirror's Edge. An earlier version of this announcement included Mirror's Edge. That was an error. We currently have no plans to remove Mirror's Edge from digital storefronts. While these titles hold a special place in our heart, we are now looking forward to creating new memories alongside you as we shift our focus towards our current and future Battlefield experiences. This whole thing is an absolute shit show. So, we've already talked about it because I talked about how I've been playing Mirror's Edge. I talked about how I made an entire video on this topic, which you can go watch on the channel right now. It goes into much more detail about this whole thing. Delisting games for any reason, shitty. It directly goes against game preservation, and regardless of how old the game is or what kind of game it is, every game deserves to be preserved in some way, shape, or form. And massive corporations like EA, because they're all they care about is the money, they will literally delist any game for any reason at any time. Nothing is safe, nothing is sacred. And the original story was very interesting because, okay, I can slightly see some form of justification for Battlefield, specifically 1943, because it's an online-only game. Probably very few people are playing it. Obviously, take that down. Like, it's fine. It's shitty, but it makes sense. The Bad Company games have campaigns. Those deserve to be remembered, and they deserve to remain on store shelves, digital storefronts. They deserve to be there for future generations to eventually purchase and play. Mirror's Edge was the outlier, because Mirror's Edge is a 100% solely single-player game, and the only online component is leaderboards for time trials, and because they were shutting those down, they were ready to throw the entire game in the trash. And obviously that brings up the whole topic of game preservation, especially this year. It's an absolute shit show, with storefronts closing down, live services closing down, single-player games being delisted. This was brought to my attention because I tweeted this out. Someone responded to my tweet saying that apparently Ubisoft quietly delisted Driver San Francisco a while ago.
They did, yeah.
That was news to me. I was like, wait, what? It just goes to show that in the hands of massive corporations, games are a fleeting memory, and literally any game that you love or hold dear, regardless of how old it is, can just poof, vanish in the blink of an eye. And it's a shitty situation all around. Thankfully, they backtracked on Mirror's Edge, but they didn't backtrack on the Battlefield games. So it's a win-lose situation here, because Mirror's Edge is sticking around, its legacy is being preserved, but then these other games that are just as good and just as iconic are basically being tossed into the wind. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Let's start with Matt. What do you think about this whole debacle?
Fuck delisting. If you are for delist, the thing about delisting is that it's inherently anti-art. If we're supposed to be treating gaming as an art form, which it is, we shouldn't be delisting, because then that is basically tantamount to book burning in a lead way. It's very similar, because it's removing pieces of art from history, just pretending that they don't exist, and that stuff deserves to be preserved. That stuff deserves to be preserved, whether it's gaming, but whether it's film, TV, art pieces, books, music. Because Spotify does this a lot too. They'll just fucking remove shit. And I think it is coming down to the fact that physical media is dying, or at the very least physical media as we know it is dying. I don't think physical media is going to go away. I think it's becoming more of a collector's thing now. But as I know it, physical media isn't what it used to be, so now most people rely on digital storefronts, which are just not reliable, because you can just remove. Goodbye. Thing will go away any second. If anything, this is also showing how important physical media is, and how important buying your stuff physically is, because you never know when that shit is going to go away, and you never know when that version of the thing's going to go away. Because they could always bring it back, but it might be in a different form. Because hey, maybe it had a licensed song in it that suddenly expired, so when they bring it back, they can't have that song anymore. Oops.
Whoopsies.
And so so in that case, I've always been against delisting, even for games like Battlefield 1943, which no one plays. Probably no one. I don't think it's probably been played much anymore. It's still a game that existed, and it's still a game that existed. You can just and you don't have to delist it. You can do what they did a little bit for Battlefield 1942, the original. Back when that came out, they kept it on stores. They just shut down the servers, but they kept it in stores because all the servers at that point were player run.
Yep, dedicated
player runs. They had player run. At that point, the people playing, if they're still playing 1943, they're probably gonna switch over to player run. They're gonna want to switch over to player run servers. They're gonna be fine with that, because they probably still really like the game, and they probably I'm just against delisting in any form. I think it's stupid. I think it's pointless, and I think it's just built around capitalistic corporate greed. That's what it is. It's inherently just it's art. It's profit over art, which I am inherently against morally. So fuck that. Fuck delisting. And I'm glad Muse's is sticking around, at least for now.
Ryan, what do you think about this?
I mean, yeah, the topic of game preservation has been talked to death in recent times, especially in the wake of the eShops closing down, like we mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, it just shows the importance of physical media, and just goes to show how much harder games are to preserve as opposed to other art forms, just the time that goes into needing to preserve them. And it sucks, and I hope things change for the better. Delistings, especially like that, particularly suck when they're not needed. It's not like a rights conflicting thing, like when DuckTales was taken down for a little bit. They're just taking it down for taking it down, and that just ultimately sucks. And it really just goes to show how much either companies need to frickin' learn to preserve their games, or gamers just got to take it into their own hands, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mentioned this in my video that I made about the whole topic, which goes into a lot more detail. It's really, really sad that the state of game preservation is entirely dependent on the gamers rather than the companies who make these games.
Yeah.
There's emulation, there's ROMs, there's flat out piracy. In the case of insane people like Gerard the Completionist, who bought every single Wii U and 3DS game on the eShop to preserve them, there's massive efforts being made on the player side to properly preserve these games to keep their legacies intact. The fact that the people who made these games don't show them the same respect, that's That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
They only see money.
unfortunately.
They don't see gaming as an art form. They see it as a profit margin. They see it as a spreadsheet.
And also, I love how when they backtracked on this, they claimed that the original announcement was an error. Even though if you saw the original article, they wrote a whole fucking eulogy for Mirror's Edge. So this was clearly not a mistake. They clearly intended for this to happen.
They are gaslighting you. Do not believe them.
It's just enough people bullied them about it that they're like, oh, okay, hold up. No. That was a mistake. We love Mirror's Edge. We want you to buy it. Give us money, please. So, yeah, the whole situation is just a fucking shit show. And I really hope that the state of games preservation improves. But I'm not hopeful because clearly the companies won't do anything.
It's gonna
to
get
preserve the games.
Like a lot of things. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
I am optimistic that it will get better in the future. But like everything else, it has to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And eventually, it is going to reach a tipping point. I do think worse. I do think that as it does inevitably does get worse, we're gonna see maybe a massive game get delisted at some point, and that's gonna be like the big tipping point. The question is, what game will it be? I would not be shocked if it's something like Dota or League that inevitably one day gets delisted as things change. And imagine the outcry when something like that happens.
Yeah.
Imagine how
that'll be like astronomical if League of Legends gets delisted. Oof. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, so many people are going to go after Riot for that.
Yeah. Oh, it is going to get worse before it gets better. So expect the worst going forward for game preservation. And expect your faves to die.
I think at least it would do game companies some good to more visibly show consumers that they preserve stuff because like people do get on Nintendo a fair bit, but if going by that Giga Leak is anything to go by, they save everything they do when that Mega Leak happened. So it sounds like behind the scenes, they're pretty good about preserving stuff, but more giving it access to the public.
Yeah,
that's the Disney Vault effect. It's the Disney Vault effect. Disney is actually one of the best in the business, in the movie business, when it comes to saving their movies. They have all of it. All of it's there. They're excellent at it. They just drip feed you it because they know that you will buy it. They know that you will fall for it. And it works every time. And that hasn't changed for Nintendo either. They know that people will get it. And sure enough, what happens? They get it.
Yeah, I mean,
the expansion pass was a huge hit for them. So
granted, I will say the expansion pass is getting better in value.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming more worth the money.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say I can at least take some comfort if I mean, if you drip feed it or give it out in kind of an annoying way, it's shitty, but at least you do enough to care to hold on to what you have made, and you at least see value in it in some way to preserve it, rather than some companies just completely losing the source code to their games, which that was scarily common back in the day. How in the hell did Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VIII, Silent Hill 2 and 3, Tales of Symphonia GameCube, those all lost their source codes? How?
Probably they got deleted or they just didn't care about it at the time. That's probably what happened. That's probably what happened. And when it comes to like the big companies, like I think like honestly every company is like really bad at game preservation. Like Nintendo obviously is like bad because they drip feed it. You should have their games available to play if you want to. And also to make them difficult to play. Sony and Microsoft aren't much better. In fact, I think they're worse. They both are worse. Remember when I don't know, was it with Xbox? I think it was Xbox One when initially it wasn't backwards compatible with shit.
Yeah, but then they added that later, and then it became a whole program.
For more money.
For more money.
Yeah, for more money.
At least it's an effort, and I can say the Xbox back compat program is definitely a lot more of an effort than some of the other companies have made.
Yeah, people
garbage though, and I think the problem is with like all of these companies, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, all of them, is that they see it as a profit margin. They know that they know you want these games, so they're gonna make you pay an extra fee to play them. Or they don't care about them because they're not what the chart says.
Yeah,
They're not what the chart says people are interested.
People give Nintendo shit for being annoying with getting their older stuff out there, which I agree they can be pretty rough with it at points. I think the Switch has been getting better about it as it adds on, and especially if NSO transitions over and they keep adding to that. I think it'll get a bit better. I think PlayStation's even worse about it. Like they're terrible.
Bad.
Yeah. PlayStation has the stupid thing of like is that part of their issue is that
the chart
the chart, obviously that they're like a big chart, they're big chart people, but also their consoles, they basically rebuild their consoles from the ground up every single fucking time.
They build them in a way that makes it impossible to
it's
run
a lot
older games.
It's a lot of work to make their stuff backwards compatible. I get it. At the same time though, it would be worth the extra work. And that excuse did not work for Microsoft when they tried it. Because they did, and they were very justifiably ripped on.
Even
back when they tried it.
Even physical backwards compatibility, that aside, PlayStation isn't even the best about putting their old shit on modern platforms in a convenient way or like in a widespread way because
they've never been good at that.
Yeah, because it like unfortunately ties into a problem where PlayStation has a serious problem of they just make something people love and then they just completely move on from it. Like just like what's that? You love Jak and Daxter, you love Sly Cooper, you love Infamous. Like bye bye.
Sayonara, fuckhead.
Yeah.
It's preserve your games.
Yeah. So, TLDR, games preservation is important, and every company should take the effort to preserve their games. If not for consumers, for the legacy of these games that are involved.
Yes.
Like, every game deserves to be remembered in one way, shape, or another, and they deserve to be played by countless generations for years to come. That's that. That if you argue against, you're wrong. Sorry.
If you argue against, you're a capitalist.
Yeah, you like money, and therefore I don't like you.
Capitalist?
If you argue against, you work at one of these companies, as is a safe assumption.
Oh shit! EA's entered the chat. Get him.
You most downvoted comment in Reddit history incoming.
Oh look, that guy says game preservation sucks. Beat him up.
It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot to top pride and accomplishment for the most.
I know. I'm not advocating for. I don't like advocating for bullying, but if you are actively like supporting companies on this, you deserve to get stuffed in a locker.
No, you can
get in there, nerd.
Bullying individuals is terrible. Bullying corporations is totally acceptable.
Bullying corporations is hilarious, and more people should do it.
That's the good shit.
I also like it's like bullying also people who buy Twitter Blue.
Oh yeah, bully them.
Some people. I give some people slack.
You know
on
what?
That
okay,
because,
the people who give into Twitter Blue just to keep the checkmark they rightfully earned, that's justified. Anyone who buys it for the clout, you're a fucking idiot.
That and also people who are like content creators who want to make sure people can actually see their content.
Yeah,
I'll give them some slack.
Also to make sure that people know it's the official account and not like a doppelganger.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Then remember Nintendo of America with the blue check mark posted Mario giving the middle finger.
Yeah,
because that went over so well.
Yeah. Oh, whoa.
That was great. I love that.
That was so funny. But with that said, boys, that wraps up another exciting installment of Bearded Banter. A lot to talk about today. Good discussion overall. And I feel like we've learned, we've grown closer together, and we've made friends along the way. So with that said, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Bearded Banter right here on BGN. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/Bearded Gaming Network, or at Bearded1BGN on YouTube, where we post a whole plethora of great gaming content. Obviously, there's the podcast, which we do every 2 weeks. There's previous streams. There's also other videos, like the video I just posted on Wednesday, Mirror's Edge and the State of Game Preservation, where I go in depth about the whole situation, give you some options to play the game, and also play the game myself and remember what made it so good to begin with. If you like more videos like that, I will try to make them. But it was a lot of fun to make. I'm very proud of it, so go check that one out. And also, punch the notification bell with your fists in its face and physically assault it, and it will notify you of when we upload, so you're the first to see new videos as they go live. Also, go follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Bearded Gaming Network, where I stream 3 nights a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If this goes up today, and hopefully it will, I will be playing Sonic 3D Blast tonight. I haven't played that game in 15 years, so that one's going to be interesting.
Wait, you're playing that tonight? Or
yeah, I decided I'm gonna because I didn't because Tails Adventure took so long to get through. So I'm like, oh, it's a bonus. We're doing more Sonic, so gonna be playing 3D Blast tonight. Hopefully, hopefully,
okay. You know what? I would say sorry for you, but you liked Sonic Labyrinth.
It's not that bad. I'm standing by my morals, Matt.
You also put Sonic the Fighters in B tier.
Yeah, because it's actually fun if you don't think about it too much. Like, it's fine. It's a good game. It's fun. Get over it, Matt. Leave me alone.
I'm not gonna get over Labyrinth and C tier. Like, are you shitting me?
Okay, that's fair enough.
What do you like? What were you smoking?
My God,
good shit. But yeah, go follow me.
No, clearly, whatever it is, your dealer, whoever they are, they need to be fired.
Okay. Well, I'll let him know that you said that. I'll let him know you said that. He'll move street corners probably. But yeah, go follow me over on there for all those streams. Also follow me over on Twitter at Bearded Gaming N, where I post all the latest updates on BGN, like videos like this, as well as other opinions on movies, video games, anime, manga, comics, and more, and funny haha memes. Wait until I buy Twitter Blue, and then everyone will think I'm a funny haha meme, because I am. I'm a clown. You should clown on me. With me, I have my co-host, Matt Legion Rex. You can follow him on Twitter at Legion Rex, as well as subscribe to him on YouTube, youtube.com/Legion Rex, where he may post videos once in a blue moon. We'll see. He's very busy guy, so just give him time. He also has a Twitch, twitch.tv/Legion Rex. You can go follow him over there, where he'll stream once in a blue moon as well.
I might be streaming soon. I don't know. I might be streaming. I don't know. It depends, because I'm about to go on a new schedule for work, and if I do, I might actually finally have the energy, the time to stream. So, because right now my problem with work is what's my schedule? Non-existent. Inconsistent. No consistent schedule. Someday I basically wake up and I don't know if I'm working or not.
Yeah, that's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, go follow him over there for when he inevitably streams. Also, we have our other co-host, Ryan, the NCS Master. You can go subscribe to him on YouTube, youtube.com/the NCS Master, as well as follow him on Twitch at the NCS Master, where he's a big boy with a lot of followers. He posts funny haha video game memes. So go follow him for all of those shenanigans. And he may also be streaming soon. Who knows? He's been talking about it, but we'll see.
It's all just a matter of shit with the job hunt and working up to eventually building up the nerve to start streaming as well, basically. Because not gonna lie, it makes me nervous, the thought of starting it.
Yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking when you start, but once you actually push yourself to do it, it gets easier every time. So yeah, go follow him on his socials. Show all these lovely boys your support, as well as me. Give me money, please. Now. But with that said, we're going to wrap things up here. So thank you all for watching. We are the Bearded Banter crew signing off. Hope you all have a great weekend. We will see you guys in a couple weeks for the inevitable next development in the Activision Blizzard story, because you know it's going to happen. So keep on gaming, everyone. We'll see you then. Oh no, Ryan's perished. Fuck, get him. Do the CPR.
Go away, Activision.
Do you think they'll just like cancel Activision after they fucking buy it?
That'd be so funny.
They buy it just to completely gut it.
I'm pretty sure Twitter has already canceled Activision.
It'd be so funny if they got it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next time, guys. Keep on gaming, everyone.